you can mark as the demarcation point, the point of no return, July 7th, 2016, of when the George Soros, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, globalist, destabilization, race war-based civil war program was launched in the United States. There have been dozens of movies the last year pushing racial division and oppression of black people and bringing up every old wound and reopening it and rubbing salt in it. There have been countless TV shows and news programs and press conferences, and the president, 4 times that I'm aware of in the last week, coming out and giving speeches about the oppression of black people and the harassment of black people in this country, which undoubtedly is going on to some extent. But the point is, metrically, statistically, it's one of the least important issues if you're actually black in this country or any other color. And I'm going to go over the statistics and the numbers. But they are absolutely hyping this going into the hottest months of the summer, July and August, ahead of an election that's 4 months away. A lot of people, this broadcast today will be deja vu because you've heard me hammer the plan that they're orchestrating. What you're going to see today, it's going to be a breakdown of what's coming. Now, let's be clear. We're told there's 2 sides. You're either for the police or you're for Black Lives Matter. I don't choose a side in that because it's a false paradigm. So it is multinational globalist manipulating our internal affairs to turn us against each other and start a civil war, recognizing an outside attempt at divide and conquer. So when you think about the sides to choose, it's George Soros or it's your local government. It's the New World Order, it's Goldman Sachs, it's JP Morgan. Who's financing the anti-police groups? Who's financing the open borders? Who's financing bringing the groups in? That's who's hijacked the country. And whether it's Ukraine or whether it's Egypt or whether it's Georgia, this destabilization program is being carried out and captained by George Soros. He has taken the credit for all 3 countries and others. And when they overthrow all 3 of those countries, do you know how they did it? It started with anti-police groups, and then they either bully the local governments into accepting their leadership over the police, or they start a civil war and overthrow the elected government and then put their people in. This is an admitted program being run by the State Department and George Soros and Obama. And notice Obama and all these movies and all these TV shows and all this propaganda, and Obama coming out in 4 different speeches the last week, including one yesterday, saying that the police are after black people and the police are persecuting them and they're killing them and it's a big problem.
Given the extraordinary interest in the shootings that took place in Louisiana and Minnesota, I thought it'd be important for me to address all of you directly, Alton Sterling and Philando Castile. As I said in the statement that I posted on Facebook, we have seen tragedies like this too many times. All of us as Americans should be troubled by these shootings, because these are not isolated incidents. They're symptomatic of a broader set of racial disparities that exist in our criminal justice system.
President Obama is speaking out about the protest and racial tension. He tells the cable network BET tackling problems as deeply rooted as racism is going to take time.
This isn't going to be solved overnight.
You know, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon.
And then this happens hours later in Dallas.
There's an officer down.
And Obama comes out this morning. It's on Infowars.com. We have the clips. And says, quote, here it is. From Politico, after latest shooting, Obama says U.S. police must reform. So it's their fault that this former Army soldier, Micah X. Johnson, 5 facts you need to know, who's told police before he was killed by a robot, that's interesting, that he was angry at white police and white people and wanted to kill them because of the Black Lives Matter movement had angered him. This gentleman and 2 other people decided, because they were mad about a video out of Minnesota where a cop might have shot somebody who was innocent, okay, burn them. And so you just go out and randomly target white people. Now, there's several different future scenarios, and we the people are going to govern what happens. But right now, we are witnessing what George Soros brags, and we're putting reports together showing all this, he did in Tunisia, in Libya, in Egypt, to a failed extent in Syria, in Ukraine, in Georgia, and many other areas. You know, in Egypt, and you know, in Ukraine and other areas, the overthrow of the governments began as anti-police demonstrations. Because police are the visible form of the government and what the people run into, and the media plays it up to scapegoat them for the larger government problems. Kind of like blaming TSA for Congress putting them in place. And the globalists can sit up in their palaces while the low-level people get the heat. This is an exact program. Now, we know the enemy program. If people will listen, and if the local governments will listen, we can stop this.